Hey, whoa. I don't know this verse, but what's up, everybody? Today is January 24th, 2021, and I'm back again with another video vlog. Yeah! What's up? Let's go. Mama chola. All right, Alexa, put the volume at 1. Shh, silence. We want silence. All right, everybody, what are we going to talk about today on today's video vlog? And the first thing that comes to mind is this concept of courage. All right, courage is one of the 4 Stoic virtues that I practice. Now, I've been talking about Stoicism for quite some time. It's a practice, it's a philosophy that I've integrated in my life. And when you integrate, it means to become one. And so your life must be an integrated sequence, a harmonic flow. It's like Bruce Lee says, flow like water, my friends. And in your life, how many times do you find yourself being tugged and pulled in every which way direction just to feel, just to live, just to wish and hope? But see, in this life, a congruent life is one that flows aimlessly. That no matter what boulder is placed in your direction, just like water, you flow right through it. That whether there's a mug, the water poured into it takes the form of the mug. Whether the water is in an ocean, it takes the form of whatever's around it. In your life, whatever obstacles come up, you must take the form of the obstacle. And in Stoicism, we say the obstacle becomes the way. Bah! Right? And so a lot of the times you hear me talking about these Stoic philosophies. Now, it sounds great in theory, but what's the application of this shit? How are you going to utilize these concepts and bring them to life? Now, when we talk about courage, what is courage? Is courage being fearless? No, I think there's a difference, right? I'm not seeking to be fearless, right? We hear a lot of the concepts like, oh, you want to be fearless in life. You want to look at life and go after this shit. Yeah, that sounds nice. But the reality is that I do feel fear. I do feel fear many times. In my life, I can look at moments when I've felt fear. Shit. I can go back into a time when the city I grew up, shout out to Baldwin Park, California. That's where I was born and raised my entire life. But it was even an act of courage to walk home from school at times. You didn't know what the fuck was going to happen. Sometimes, many times actually, walking home was an experience on its own. I grew up in a community that, very good people, very good community, taught me a lot of values, right? A lot of hardworking people. But at the same time, there's also, just like anywhere you go in the world, there's going to be gangsters, there's going to be tribes, there's going to be different corresponding groups that are in sequence of your life. Now, to walk home, I was fucking scared, man. I was like, damn, if I walk home today, what's gonna happen? Well, there was times where you'd get grown-ass men in their cars saying, hey, what's that hat stand for? Or where are you from? Do you write? And you're just like, man, dude, I'm just walking home, bro. I got your glasses, I look like a nerd. Got my backpack, all nervous and scared. Right? But it was an act of courage to walk home. Now, as I evolved in life and moved forward, right? One of my practices now is how can I practice this element of courage? Not to be fearless, because I've talked to many martial artists who still to this day say each and every time they fight and get into that ring or arena or a jiu-jitsu mat or whatever field of choice that they do, they still have fear. They still fear the opponent. Okay? So I don't want to be fearless, but damn it, do I want to be courageous. And in my life, that's one of my spiritual virtues, is to be courageous, that no matter what life presents you, there's the courage of fucking God inside of you. That no matter what obstacle presents itself, you can look it in the eyes and say, hey, you may be big, you may be strong. Shoot, if everything goes wrong, I may lose a lot. But the sheer fact is, I won't retreat and I won't surrender. Shout out to the Spartans for that quote right there. Shout out to the Spartans for that quote. No retreat, no surrender. Going after my target no matter what. And that's what courage is. Courage is to demonstrate, to do the right thing every fucking time. Courage says, hey, what's the right thing to do right now in this moment? Maybe right now in your life, you're confronted with a few problems. What's the right thing to do right now in this moment of life? Is to drown and become a victim of this? To dramatize the problems that life has presented to you? Or to flip the frame and say, hey, everything in my life, the good and the bad, I'm going to take 100% responsibility. And this is another Stoic philosophy, amor fati. I love my fate. I love the fact that I have these problems. Because these problems give me a fucking chance to play this game of life. That with my courage and my iron will, I can go after this. I can build and amplify my character by looking at my shortcomings in life and saying, how can I become bigger than the problem itself? Because no problem is bigger than you. No problem is bigger than you. And the minute you make a problem bigger than you, you've given it so much power, more power than it deserves. And how many times are we running away from these opportunities of life? You got to look at your life, examine it. Stop running from it. Everybody's running from this shit. Not everybody. But when I say everybody, if it fits the shoe, you got to look at your life and say, hey, what the fuck? What is limiting my potential of being exactly what I know? Because I guarantee if I were to ask you right now, who do you want to be, to the depths of your core, you know there's a version of you that's dying, that's burning to come outside. But there's still this fucking fear. This fear of, man, well, what if it doesn't go the way I want it? Or what if this? What if that? Man, who cares? Who cares about that? What if it goes well? What if it goes great? See, now you're stepping into your courage. You're stepping into your courage by flipping the frame and saying, hey, what if I don't have the money right now? What if my business does fail? Okay. I've now seen the worst. What's the possibility? Will I still be alive? Yeah. Okay. Then what's the opposite of that? A life of virtue, a life of courage, a life that I could possibly be exactly who I say I'm going to be, and no longer a victim, a slave to these problems that I thought I once was. I guarantee you, you're not the effects of your past. You're not the effects of your upbringing. You're not the bullshit circumstances in your life. I guarantee you can change every condition in your life. But it first begins with a knowingness that there is a possibility, that there is someone out there who has accomplished that with that problem that you are surrounded by, or the problem that you're suffocated by. There is someone out there who's demonstrated the solution of it. Now, if someone has already solved it, then damn it, there's no freaking excuse for you to not go forward. See, you didn't got to reinvent the wheel. The formula is there. If it's weight loss, you see, I was plagued with being fat my entire life. I was this fat chicken nugget guy, right? Little chicken nugget. I loved to eat chicken nuggets, right? And so therefore I looked like it. You know, they say, you are what you eat. I was a motherfucking chicken nugget, all right? I was a chicken nugget. And for years, these insecurities limited what was possible for me in life and experiences and what I knew was possible within me. But see, there was always this knowingness in my mind that, hey, one day when this problem no longer is the ultimate focus that stops me from doing what I know is possible, that day, when that day comes, oh boy, you best motherfucking believe it. You best believe it. See, there was a knowingness. Now, once you know what's possible within yourself, now that when you're able to look above from a grander perspective at the things that you know you need to handle in life, now you step in with your new frame of mind saying, hey, I'm not running from you anymore. I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of what can happen, because if what can happen is already happening. Now, I'm going to take responsibility. I'm going to step into this new element of life. Maybe you want to launch your business. It takes a tremendous amount of courage to start in business. It takes a tremendous amount of courage to step into a martial art. It takes a tremendous amount of courage to do anything in this life that gets you out of your fucking comfort. But see, we must begin to no longer feed the ideas of being fearful or fearless and be courageous, because fear is something that we can't control. It's a mechanism that happens in our system that has been deeply enrooted in us since our primal instinct days. Since the days where we had to survive with spears and a tribal unit to go hunt for our own food, right? This system, this body, this DNA has been programmed for years to survive. So therefore, it's going to fear whatever is a possible threat to your survival. But see, the ultimate destination in this life is to no longer be a slave of our fears. It's to no longer be second to our truest potential. Now is to be the moment of exactly who we want to be. To communicate to the world your ideas and who you are is an act of courage. To stand up for what you know is right is an act of courage. For you to express and be who you are is an act of courage. And anytime you hold yourself back, you've now allowed that possibility of being fear again. See, there's two choices in this life. You can choose to see it black and white. I do sometimes. How am I behaving? Am I being courageous or am I being fearful? Am I doing the things that are going to amplify my conditions of life? And that's an act of courage. The minute I regress and go backwards, I'm stepping into that fear, that comfort, that dis-ease. I don't want that. I am tired of that motherfucker. I'm tired of that guy who puts everything off. I'm tired of the guy who has the excuses. Because I won't waste another ounce of my life, another ounce of my breath, not performing, not moving forward in my life. This life is not a short life. It's a very long life. Most people don't live this life. They live each day already preparing for their death. But how many people truly live to express the truest potency of who they are and their character? Now, it's not easy, but each and every day it's your practice to say, hey, you know what? It may be scary to confront those fears, those insecurities that I have. But today I'm going to act on my courage. No longer am I slave to this shit. If in your mind you know you're insecure, say it. Hey, I'm insecure. Make a video about it. I'm insecure about this, but today that insecurity dies because the minute I start to speak about it, it's no longer a problem. It only exists in our mind. It's only a problem in your mind. It's not a real problem out there. You got to look at your insecurities and be like, hey, they're not really hurting me. They're not really hitting me, socking me, punching me. They're not damaging me. It's my own mind, this instrument of the mind that's pointed against itself and shooting itself every time you feed into that shit. But instead of fucking shooting yourself, let's now use our mind to shoot out there. Shoot at what? Shoot at life. Let's be a target. Let's stop being the target and let's now start hitting our targets. Hitting our targets of who we want to be and how we want to act and how we want to conduct ourselves. Because the way you conduct yourself is who you are. It's not who you say you are, it is who you are. That's why every day I show up. That's why every day I post. That's why every day I share my process. So that those who are still afraid can see someone who isn't afraid. Maybe I'm afraid, but I know that my courage is far more greater than any fear that lives inside of me. And I'm going to practice my courage every day by being honest, by expressing myself 1,000,000%, and going forward with life, challenging life. I don't want to live a life without challenges. I love my challenges. There's a game to be played. Start playing this game in the battlefield of conquering all the challenges in your life. Stop seeing these challenges as, oh, fuck, another one. And why isn't life ever in my favor? Well, how about you start thinking that life is always in your favor and that life presented you that challenge so that you are the solution to that problem, so that you're the light to that problem, so that you are stronger there in that arena of life. Life is only reflecting what you are. Your life, what you see and how you perceive this world around you, is just a reflection of your values and your perception of life. So if there's a negative perception of life, then there's things that you got to handle within yourself. And until you handle that, you're going to be a slave. But the minute you step into your courage, you'll start to feel these chains break apart. Because it's only you who can be your savior. It's only you who can step into your courage. It's only you who can face all your challenges, all your adversity, and say, hey, I'm no longer a slave to you. Now is where you start to build your courage and build your power. And the more you do it, the more you demonstrate who you are. I guarantee your evolution of life, the conditions of your life, will no longer be of that past and that previous person. You kill that version of you, and you become much stronger. All right, guys, that's it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I did. I got stronger. But that's it for this one. Like and subscribe, and we'll keep on posting these video vlogs. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram. THEFERNANDOCARO, CARO. Follow me on Instagram. You guys can watch my IMC Warrior Monk check-in, my way of life, the cold shower routines, the wake-ups, the beast process. I show it all. Not all of it, but glimpses of it. Enough for someone to say, hey, no more sitting on my ass. Now is the time to work. Because if it's not now, it's not never. And right now is the only moment you have. All right, guys. Salute.